Hello everyone, and welcome to my review of set 75432, the V-19 Torrent Starfighter. This set is set to come out this Friday, August 1st, and has a retail price of $65, which is a little pricey, but I can honestly see how they did this with this one, and you will see my explanation here a little later in the video. But starting off looking at the box art here, we have a nice planet down here in the background, a little bit of fighting going on behind the ship. We have a very nice view of the ship itself with the new clone pilot minifigure inside, and then we also have a nice view of our minifigure selection here with General Obi-Wan Kenobi, the clone pilot, and then Asajj Ventress. All of these minifigures are new and currently exclusive to this set, And without further wait, I'm going to go ahead and build this set, and I will see you in a moment. So starting off with the minifigures here, we are going to go in order from the least awesome to the most awesome minifigure in this set. So starting off here, we have the new updated Asajj Ventress with the, it's kind of hard to tell with my lighting, but we have a purple torso. And then we do have this new head print up here. We do get new curved lightsaber hilts, and then more printing throughout the back. And then I know a lot of people are questioning why they chose purple, and I do kind of agree with that. I feel like the lines up here on her head should definitely be purple, but I feel like her clothes should be more of a dark, really dark purplish blue. So I don't think they should be the same shade, but it's not too bad. And then I definitely think that this figure could have benefited from some dual molded legs here, because as you can see, the purple and gray doesn't really blend that well, and it kind of ends on the side of the legs too early. And then some arm printing would have been nice on this figure, but as you will see here in a few moments, we got arm printing on a much nicer minifigure. So next up here we have our all new updated clone pilot. Oh, wait a second. Yes, we finally have gotten a true Phase 1 clone pilot, not the commander that doubles as the pilot. This minifig has the same leg printing as the normal clone troopers, and then the only difference on the torso is this little oxygen pack here, and then it continues around the back with printing. And then we do have the nice unique helmet mold with the Republic logo on either side, and then the yellow strip that does not go all the way to the back. But taking a nicer look at the helmet here, it is very nice, very detailed for a new mold all throughout. And then our minifig does just have the standard clone head, and this is definitely a nice minifigure. I am very glad that LEGO finally took the time and effort to make a fitting Phase 1 clone pilot. And then last but not least, we have probably the best minifigure of this set, and a minifigure there that is definitely in contention for the best minifigure of the year, with General Obi-Wan Kenobi. This minifigure is based off of Season 1 of the Clone Wars, as is this set. And taking a look at Obi-Wan here, we have the nice standard Jedi lightsaber, and then I do believe this is the normal Obi-Wan head, and he does have the more angry expression on the back that you could use if you want to pose him while he's fighting. And then obviously the normal Obi-Wan hairpiece. We have the nice armor printing up here on the top of the torso, along with some amazing arm printing with the Jedi logo on this side, and then his comlink on the other. And then the legs are also very nice, very detailed. This is honestly my favorite minifigure that I've gotten in a long time. It's definitely in contention for the best one of the year. Definitely the best Obi-Wan they've ever made, and this definitely helps hype this set up even more than it already is. And now on to the big star of this set, the V-19 Torrent itself. As you can see in its landed position, it does still look sort of nice. But I can see what people were saying when it first leaked about how in this area it looks a little chubby, and especially here on each side of the wings. It's not really that nice looking when it's down, especially from the side. It looks a little weird, almost like it's incomplete. And then we do have some really nice engines here on the back with the thrust, and they actually, used barrel pieces here for these parts of the engines. And then the way the mechanism works is, well, that unclipped. This will flip down and pop into place in that thing. You don't really, well, there, that time you heard a click. And so that one's down. And then these are attached by some ball joints here, so they just flip down. And now you can see the new, oops. Hey, the engines fall off if you put a lot of pressure on them. The New Republic logo, and then it does the same thing on this side. And then now you get the ship in its full flight mode, and obviously it doesn't really stay standing. I mean, if you wanted to, you could kind of lean it like this, but I wouldn't display it that way. If you really wanted to, I feel like if you connected some things down here, you could easily make a stand for it. And then obviously we have the cockpit, which opens up, and it's very nice, very detailed. And then you can take your clone pilot here and pop him on in. And then as you can see, this minifigure doesn't really need to like lay down like some of them do. And then the canopy just closes right over top, so now you have your pilot right in the V-19. And then we do have these nice cannons here that have stud shooters which can launch, and then that's the same on both sides. So overall, very nice build, has some nice play features. And then again, to put it in its landed mode, just flip both these up, flip this back and clip it, and that's that. So it's pretty nice, but obviously it would be much nicer if we got a display stand for this set. So two quick comparisons here of ships that really relate to the V-19. So first off, we have the ARC 170 over here that released back in January for $70, so only $5 more than this guy here. And as you can see, there's definitely like a substantial size difference, especially when you like look at them from all the different angles. And then obviously this stand wasn't included. I bought that on like Amazon. The only minifigure wise, the ARC 170 only came with one more minifigure, and that was the Astromech droid. But coolness of the minifigure wise, the V-19 here is definitely better. Value wise, I don't think the ARC 170 is really worth $70, but I think this, actually, I mean, for the money you're paying for, I definitely think if you were in between the two, you would get this one. It's not really worth $65, but this is definitely not worth $70. Also, the V-19 just has some better minifigures here, and then comparing them with the V-19 in its landed form here, I'm just going to lay it like that. It definitely looks a lot closer in size now, which means the landed form definitely does make the V-19 look smaller. But I think if you were in between two Republic ships, I would go with the V-19 and then wait a little bit on the ARC 170. And then also the second comparison that I just had to do, Anakin's Starfighter over here. I believe this is from 2016. I do not remember how much that was. I think it was around $30, maybe $25. And then obviously we have the V-19 yet again for $65. So, minifigure-wise, Anakin's Starfighter had the pilot Anakin and R2-D2, and this one definitely had some much nicer minifigures, as you've seen, with Obi-Wan, the pilot, and Ventress. But just with both of these being from the earlier seasons of the Clone Wars, it is really nice to see them next to each other, especially since usually when you see the V-19, we have the Jedi leading them, and then having the V-19 in its open form here. It definitely looks very nice next to the Starfighter. Like, you can envision them flying in a battle. So, not really that much of which one you should buy comparison, but just showing the V-19 next to another iconic earlier season Clone Wars ship. Well, folks, that is it for my review of the V-19 Torrent Starfighter. I hope you enjoyed the video and enjoyed seeing the V-19 in action. This is definitely one of the better sets of the August wave. I made a YouTube short a while ago and had rankings, and this was placed 3rd under the MTT and UCS ATST. And I know I said that I was going to get the MTT and 327th Battle Pack on August 1st. However, I did manage to find this and the MTT early, so this review is coming out now, and then the MTT should be out in about an hour or so. But I definitely was a little skeptical about this set when I first saw the leaks. I originally didn't think I was going to get it. I had honestly thought that the Obi-Wan and Ventress rumors were untrue, and it was just going to be the clone pilot and maybe like just one Phase 1 clone trooper. But LEGO did really make some nice minifigures in this set. The only real issue with this one that a lot of people have been talking about is that the visor on the box does not match the visor on the trooper. But I honestly don't think it's too bad. I think the visor matches the other Phase 1 clone troopers, like our commander here. So that is it for the review. I hope you enjoyed the video. The MTT review should be out in about an hour or so. Make sure you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one.